Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Hanging with Hobo live. And we're coming to you from a new setup, a new studio. Oh, wait, where are you at? Oh, hey, there you are. Get out here. Ain't that slick, y'all? Part of the new studio. For my back issues, I took advantage of a deal I found in Office Depot and got one of the power lifting desks. So when I start to hurt, I just press a button, it'll lift right up. I can stand up and work standing up. New chair, lumbar support, really, really good shape. Right now, no pain. So we'll see how tonight goes. Before we jump into what all we're going to do tonight, I'm going to do a live demo on a new toy that I got that I think is going to help sell some photo frames. And I think it's something that each of you guys, if you're doing craft fairs, if you're doing, even if you're not doing craft shows and stuff like that, if you're selling frames, or if you haven't been, I've shown you in the last couple of weeks how easy it is to design some of the frames. Start coming up with some neat frame designs. People, oh, I like them. But you know what? None of us have photos anymore. All of our photos are on here. And they stay in here. Well, this new little toy can take them out of your phone and onto an actual photo on real photograph paper, not printed by some inkjet that looks horrible on semi photo paper. This is real photo paper. It's a real photograph. And it's amazing the technology they've got now for the low price that they've got. And I am not being paid by Kodak to sponsor this. I bought it, and I'm going to show you the link to buy it yourself. But I thought, man, this is slick, because if you're doing craft shows and craft fairs and you've got photo frames laying around, they're like, oh, I really, really like that, but I don't have a picture put in it. You don't? Do you have a favorite picture you got on the phone? You know what? In fact, every one of us, any one of us that's got a phone, got a smartphone, if you go to your lock screen, you've got your favorite photo right there. Everybody's got that. Come back here, Gigi. There she is. And so you can say, you know what? You got a photo right there. Wouldn't you like to have that, an actual photo in your frame? Email it to me. And they're like, what? Email it to me. And if they don't want to share their email, they can actually use their phone to go right in this dock and print out the photo. So we're going to do that. We're going to do it live. In fact, let's see. Let's test this. Because this is our first stream with all new setup, and I got the second camera going, I hope. So let's see if you see the photo doc. Yeah, I think there you go. So that's all there is to it. There's a little photo doc, and your phone can plug right into it. And you can do it through a direct connection on my fingers. There we go. And it's ready to go. Or it works through Bluetooth. And we're going to do it through Bluetooth tonight. But switch back here. I've got my Rolly XW here. I got a place here I can bring in another laser and two windows that I can vent straight out. Works really good, convenient. But we're also going to do some design work tonight. I had a request, and excuse me for drawing a complete blank. I think it was Barry. Pretty sure it was Barry that sent me an email. Yeah, Barry sent me an email asking for some help with something like this. Let's get it over here. There we go. And he's wanting to do something for Hot Wheels, something that he can laser engrave and cut out and disassemble. And he said he bought a few different patterns, but he's having nothing but problems out of them, which is typical when the stuff you buy, if it doesn't say LightBurn ready or tested and approved, if they don't have an actual photo of the existing product, you can bet there's probably going to be problems with that file. But I'm going to show you how easy it is to create that in live tonight. And also something else that I did. If you didn't catch this week's stream, but you did catch the live last week, I finished the photo for the memorial. And this is a friend of mine. She has passed, but this isn't a death photo. She hated having her picture taken. Every time I take a picture, she's just like, so, but after I put it in the frame and on here, it's like, oh man, it looks like I took it in the casket, but I didn't. She was a good friend, and then hate that she's not with us anymore. But this I finished. It's the prototype. I haven't got that online yet because there's a few other things I'm got to tweak. But I ended up going with a different color for the frame other than the leaves, and I used the reason that the maple leaves, baby maple leaves, really really small, they are red. And from what I understood, they're red to protect them from being sunburned. And so that's why I did that. And plus, the additional single sheet of the green that I needed was going to cost me $20. So I said, no, I ain't going to do that. So we went with the red. And then while I was in Office Depot picking up all this stuff, I seen this, and I was like, man, this will be a great way to prototype stuff like that without using $20 and $30 worth of material. Oh, I've worked with cardstock before, but I've never done it with all the random, colors. And then plus, I got thinking about this. There are a lot of designs out there that people do with lasers and multi-layered art. We're going to create one of those. I'm create one of those, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to create a 4 or 5 or 6 layer piece of artwork in LightBurn. Real simple, real quick, and do it with something like that, and then take and frame it, and you'd have a really nice piece of artwork. So we're going to do a couple of designs tonight. But before we do, let's see here. I want to see what we got. We got all good. We got some good numbers here tonight, and I appreciate every one of you being here. I do want to tell you that I am blessed to have you here and blessed for your support. And I thank you for that. I acknowledge that. I would not be here without your support. But I also want to share with you the blessings that I received this week, and a couple opportunities for you to save some money. And maybe you might want to take advantage of some of these things yourself. But I'm looking for questions, comments for you. That printer would be great for memorial jobs, for funerals. Everyone finds. Yes, I tell you, I've actually bought 2 new toys, and I'm going to show you one this week, Chris. And I've got another one that I actually have, and I showed it to because I do, in fact, just pulled this off the laser. Just pulled it off the laser. I do tons and tons of these, more of them, and I do them for free, as you know, and I'm honored to do them. It's sad that I it's 2-3 a week, but I was talking to the funeral director. I said, how many people have, and this would be for us old farts. For you young, we're old farts, young at heart. For you truly young ones out there, this you wouldn't have. How many of you have Super 8 or 8mm films in a box? Old family films, no way to watch them, no way to see them. I do have a Super 8 projector and an 8mm projector, so I can do that. But this new toy, you can actually take that 8mm film, put it in there, and hit a button. It'll save it to an SD card. It'll create a photograph from that film. Then you can take that SD card, put it in here, and print out an actual photograph from 8mm film. And I thought, wow, that would be something really cool, because the funeral homes would have a lot of the older film, and to be able to recreate and photos for the memorial videos they do, it'd be really cool. So that's something else I'm going to show, but not tonight. And again, I'm not a barker. I don't get up here and promote product that I did not purchased have. I was fortunate enough. I have bought rollies, but I was fortunate enough to be involved in the relationship with Leo that he eventually ended up getting me into the program where he sent me replacement modules or sent me this or that. But I buy my equipment. I buy my equipment, and I don't do endorsements on stuff just for the heck of it. So the stuff I'm going to show you tonight, stuff that I wanted, I bought, and I think you might benefit from it too. All right, so let's see here. The photo frame would look good on the left side, then it doesn't take away from. Well, and there's all kinds of options. Yes, you could do it over there. In fact, on this one, I didn't do it because 2 reasons. This was the very, very, very first prototype, and this over here, it's not attached. In fact, I can see how I point that out. I fixed that in the design that you download. It is attached, so it would be secure. So you could put the frame over there. But also, you have with the frame over here, you have the option of putting a name or a date or a scripture or whatever you wanted to around here, leaving that open. But you could do it, like you say, this is glued onto the face. So if you had that piece set and done, finished, and maybe you didn't even have it assembled, because if they wanted to put a name or a scripture on there, you just simply don't have it in your base yet, and you could put it in your rollie, and you've got a nice jig and put it in. You but do that perfect placement, then assemble it, photo on it if they want or not. But yes, you could put the frame on the opposite side. But had this frame been in the green leaves, it wouldn't have looked like those were being covered. It would just been another limb. It would look good. But you're absolutely right. Either side would work. Let's see here. Depending on the photo, you could. Yep. So what we just talked about. Okay, and thank you. This I'm very comfortable right now. I'm gonna do my best not to fall asleep on you. As long as I don't have any pain, that could be a possibility. Okay. All right. So let's put this out the way. And, all right. So if you are in the United States and you have an Office Depot in and around near you, I want to show you the 2 things that I got at Office Depot. Number 1, this desk, because it is a deal. I bought this desk because it is that power lifting desk. In fact, it's got 4 different positions. You can program it for memory. I'm gonna raise it. Gigi, you stay. Gigi's actually able to be right here beside of me now, but she doesn't like all the movement. So if I lift this up, hit the number button, and she just starts rising. Bring it up to height that's good and comfortable. And I can stand here and work until I don't feel any pain sitting, and I can go back down. But this desk, I was blown away. I went in and looking at prices on these things, and they were nuts. They were $700-800 and more for the powerlifting desk. And this desk is discontinued. They have it on clearance for $250. And it's got 4 USBs over here, 2 A's and 2 B's, or two A's and 2 C's on the side. And that's your power setup or memory for your powerlifting and all that. But they've got a couple of different models like this, different colors, and they have a couple of other options that are a little bit more, but they're on clearance. This Real Space from Office Depot. If you've got an Office Depot and you need a new desk and you want a powerlifting desk, these things are normally $660. They got them for $250. You can't beat that if you need a new desk. Powerlifting desk. And it's got 2 drawers in the front. And then the chair. I told you about the chair last week. The chair was $700 chair, and that was a hard pill to swallow. But after I sat in every chair in there and could not get comfortable, and then sat in this one, and it's a Serta, like the Serta mattress. It's memory foam, and it's a big and tall, so it's made for us fat people. But it was still hard pill to swallow, but I did. I also bought one of those plastic mats for the casters to roll around on. But when I got home and put it all together, the chair is a big and tall, right? It's for fat people. I didn't pay any attention to the size of the mat that I bought. It was too small for the chair. So the next day, I went to take that mat back. And when I took that mat back, and then we were still looking to see if the new mat I was going to buy was going to be big enough for the chair, I like to fell out because that chair was blowing out on a deep, deep sale that I had just bought yesterday. And I was like, holy smoke. And I asked the girl, I said, I've already put mine together, but can I bring you the box back, get credit, and then turn around and buy the empty box from you? And she said, well, no, that wouldn't be ethical. And I said, well, places do it all the time. Lowe's, Home Depot, they all have 30-day price guarantees. You don't do that? And she said, nah. I said, call your manager. She called the manager up there, and I asked him the same thing. I said, can I return this box and buy the box from you? He said, oh, yeah, no problem. So I was able to do that and got a $150, $160 credit that I didn't have. So I got a really good deal on the desk. Ended up saving another $100, $150 on the chair. And then I had to return an item. And I want to give a shout out to the people at WeatherTech. This has nothing to do with our channel and what we do, but if you've ever thought about getting any of those WeatherTech mats, the floor mats and all that, I did for the truck I've got. And something I bought I didn't like, so I just sent it back. Well, the Postal Service said I ended up owing them more postage. And I got a bill from them for $160 additional postage. The part didn't cost me $80. I sure as heck wouldn't spend $160 to return an $80 part. But they billed me and took my money. I contacted WeatherTech about it and had them verify the dimensions and the weight that I sent back. And they said, yes, you're right. What you did was absolutely correct because I sent it back in the exact same original packaging. So they emailed me that and said, use that with UP or USPS to try and get your money back. But we hate that happened. So we're going to go ahead and give you half of your money back. We're going to help you with half of it, just in case you don't get your refund from them. So WeatherTech, really, really good people. So that was another blessing. So I've been blessed all week. My pain in my back has been up and down, but my uncle loves to say that I could fall face first into a pile of horse manure and come out with a gold horseshoe in my mouth. But I don't think I'm lucky. I think I'm blessed. And you, my viewers, are part of the blessing. So thank you. Thank you all. So now, let's get into LightBurn and start looking at some of these designs. Or you know what? No, before we do that, let's do the photo doc. That's going to take just a second. This is a photo that I printed from that. And just so you can see that this is not something that's prepared or planned. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. If you would like to have a frame, custom design frame by me for you, the first email that I get at hobowithwood@gmail.com that has a photo, I will print that photograph and I will make a custom frame for you. So anybody that's out there watching right now, the first one, hobowithwood@gmail.com, that sends me a photograph that you would like to have framed, we'll do it. So I need to open up my email, hobowithwood@gmail.com. Where are you at? Email, there you are. And I'm going to move this over here to where I can see. And as soon as I see one, I'll tell you, just in case you go, oh, I'm going to send it, you can stop. So once I get one, we're going to do one that way. All right. Let's see here. Santa says, I had a standing desk at work for several years and have one in my office now, sitting all the time. Yeah, it's not good for your back. And that's why I'm in the pain that I'm in. So, getting one of these power desks is awesome, especially right now, $250. You couldn't put one together with a couple of pallets for $250. You need to lower the power microphone. It sounds much better when you're standing. Well, let's see. I don't want to bring it into frame. Let's see, that's in the frame. I can bring it closer. How's that? Does that sound better? Does that sound better for you? Did you test the frame for photos and landscape? This frame, it wouldn't matter. Yeah, it would work. It would work. It's just a 4x6 frame, whether or not it's portrait or landscape. So I have a standing desk, but my chair's not tall enough. It's not supposed to be tall enough. Yeah, well, when I was standing, I was, a lot closer to the mic itself. Are you not able to hear me? Is it because this is where it was positioned before, height wise? This where it's at now is where it was at the other desk. But I imagine because when I stood up, I'm 6 inches away from the mic now. So a little, but it is a close speaking mic. Well, you know what? You guys don't care that you see it. We'll bring her down because we're going to be looking at LightBurn and stuff here in a few minutes anyway. We're not going to be okay. Looks like I got a photo from Jack, so no more emails. No more emails. And hey, that's cool too. That's Jack. Let's see here. We'll have to go to is that Dave? Jack beat you by well, within 30 seconds. You were close. All right. So and if anyone who hasn't seen or met Jack in the shop, this is Jack in the shop, folks. We're gonna send him we'll make him a nice little frame and go have a margarita. He's right around the corner from us, and we'll do something and celebrate. All right, so I've got this in my email, which means I can also access that email here. And go in to my email, Gmail. There we go. To Papa. There it is. And there he is. And we're going to download it. Where is my download button? So I told you I don't want to view it. I want to save it. So this part I didn't practice this. Durr. So you'd want to get familiar with that before you start. Because here's what I'm thinking. You got a nice frame sitting there. You're selling for $15-20. Tell them you want the photo to go in it. I'll do that for you. Print it right here right now. You can leave with it, and it's $20. You add $5 or $6 more to it. These things, the photos only cost you less than $1, I think. And we can look at that too. See. How did you? There it is. Oh. Did you embed it or attach it? That's my problem, I think. Save. There we go. Golly, I couldn't find the save button. All right, now I've got the photo saved in my phone. It's in my gallery. So if I go to my gallery, I can see there he is. Hey. So now there is an app, a Kodak app, that will allow you to connect to this device via Bluetooth. K comes after J, right? Gotta find, there it is. All right, Kodak photo. So, and there it is. It's connecting to the Bluetooth already. That fast. As soon as I clicked on it, it's connected to the machine. It went to my photos, my gallery, and it's asking which photo I want. So I click on that mug right there, and this is already powered up. And before I switch, I told you this thing prints on photographic paper, real photo paper. And it's what they call it's 4 passes, and it uses the 3 colors of the color wheel plus a lamination. It's 4-layer sublamination. And if back in the 80s and the early 90s, when I used to do a whole lot of photographs, I would go to Wolf Camera. And if you wanted to bring in your negatives, you could put these negatives in the machine. You could play with it. You could play with all the colors and everything and do some editing, and it'd print out right there. And that's the process that they used. It was a 4-layer sublamination print on photo paper, and it was expensive. Well, here it is on a desktop, and I am connected, and I've got the app there it is. I've got the app open. I got Jack there, and I can come in here. I can come in here and edit it and play with it, or I can just tell it to print. And this is looking really, really good. There's not a whole lot of color or modifications to be done. So I'm just going to go and hit the print done and hit the print button. Oh, it says low resolution. That's okay. We're going to go with that. And it's doing a little countdown around here, getting ready to print it out. And the print process is fairly quick once it uploads to the actual printer. All right, now it says it's printing, and you'll watch it start doing its thing right here. And Larry's asking, is the physical connection to the printer an Android or iOS? This is right now, I'm doing it through Bluetooth on Android, but it does work on the other one as well, iOS. So there's your yellow. It'll print everything out in yellow. And it feeds it back through, and it'll apply the next color. And it's magenta. So you've had your yellow and magenta. It'll take it back, and it'll give it the cyan. And there's the finished picture, but now it needs to be protected. So it'll take it back and put a clear lamination over it, and you have a really super nice photo. And what's funny is this thing said it was a low resolution picture that Jack sent, but the photo looks awesome. And that quick, you have a photograph. High gloss. It is, and it's not something that you can't touch, or it's not wet ink or something like that. You do have the edges at the top and the bottom that wouldn't need to be trimmed. That's, I guess, what's needed in order for it to feed through the machine. But he ain't a bad looking dude, is he? So this is really, really cool. And this show, if you go to hobowithwood.com/photodoc, it will take you to Hobo with Wood Photodoc. it'll take you to Amazon. This is the Amazon website. This is where I bought mine. And this comes with, this particular one comes with 50 sheets. You can load about 10 sheets at a time in here. You don't want to put, I think it was 10 or maybe 20. You don't want to overload it because you don't want to take a chance on it getting jammed up. But at $132 and you get 50 photographs, calculator, 132 divided by 50. So it's costing you $2.64 per photo. And if you charge $5 or even $9.99 for the photo, but I'd charge probably or $8.99. So hey, if they're buying a frame, I can add you a photograph in there for you right now while you wait. It's going to cost you $6, $7, $8, whatever. It's costing you $2.50 or $2.50 to print it. I think it's a chance to and by offering that photo right there on the spot is going to motivate them to purchase that dog frame. World's best dog, and they got a picture of their dog. They love the frame, but they don't have a picture. Well, I'm going to provide you both of them. If you're doing shows, or even if you're not, if you just got some, you're doing this at home and your friends say, I like the frame, but I ain't got a picture. Well, email it to me because you've seen what I just did for you. Live. Jack sent me a picture and then boom. And that's a high quality photograph. So I'm really, really happy with that investment. I think that if you wanted to get into photo frames, you would be too. So hobowithwood.com/photodoc. I'm not paid by Kodak to tell you about this. I bought it. In fact, just so you can see, I did not get let's go here, go to returns and orders. Right there. Delivered April the 8th. I got the film and slide scanner, and I got the photo doc. The one I got only had 10 sheets instead of the 50. But right now, the 50 is the better deal because if we click on the one I bought, you got 10 sheets for $125, or for $7 more, you get 5 times the number of sheets. I was a numbnuts and didn't see that when I bought it, or else I'd have got it for $7 more. So anyway, all right. So that's that toy. I like it. I think if you want to do photos, you'll like it too. So now let's get into LightBurn. Let's look at the how easy it is to, and let me get back over here to comments. I didn't see all these comments pop up. What about refill colors? Well, this thing is, and there, you know what? Let's look at what the actual cost per photo would be, because there at $2.50, at $2.50 per photo is including the cost of machines. That's a good question, because you're not going to buy the machine again. You're just only going to be buying the refills. So I think I looked at it, and I think the refills are actually bring the cost down. And scroll down here to where I can see, because I thought it was at the bottom. Let's see. We'll see. Kodak photo doc refill. All right. So there you go. So there's 80. That's 80 photographs, an 80 pack. Comes with 2 of the print cartridges. That's where you get your color from, and 80 sheets of photo paper for $29. So $29 divided by 80 photographs, it's 36 cents. There you go. That's where you look at your money. You make big. It's 36 cents per photograph. Once you've got your machine paid for, 36 cents for the actual photo. You charge $5 or $8 for it. Cha-ching. I really am for people who are doing fairs and shows. This could help really motivate sales and increase your gross profit big time. So I get excited when it comes to making money. Can you tell? Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. And the things are real simple to load and to create. In fact, we'll go back over there. You pull this up full screen. See, it's just a cartridge that you slide in. One, that's two cartridges stacked one on top of the other. There's no inks, there's no gels. It's all self-contained, and the sheets load into the dock just like your paper holder on a copy machine. It's simple, simple, and simple. I can't believe how cheap it is and how remarkable it works compared to what I used to have to do in the 80s. It's nuts. Absolutely nuts. All right. Yep, people do spend money on their pets. You know they do. Yep. Not good. I can get it for 151 US. I think it was sent by air. You can get the entire thing for 150 bucks or the refills. At $150 though, what was $130 is what we paid. I paid 126. So 150 is still not bad. It's not a bad price. And then look at your refills. If you and you probably, and like I said, you probably would get at least the 50 pack. If the 50 pack's not available, get the 10 pack and go ahead and order one refill kit when you get it, because you sell out of 10 real quick and people are wanting more and you don't have it. You don't want to be in that spot. So, all right. Now, so the refills will print 80 photo. Yes. Yep. There's 2 cartridges there and 40 sheets of paper. So one cartridge is probably going to give you 40 photographs. And then time to change that out and do the next 40. So it doesn't say how much the cartridge is for more of them. Yeah, we just looked at that, Carl. They come out to 26 cents per photograph. The refills include the cartridge and the photo paper. Well, you know, if you got one of these, it's nothing but a camera and it's full of 200 photographs, and you scroll through them and look at them every once in a while. This is a super cool way to get them out and put them out on display for everybody to see. All right, now let me make sure I got all the comments. All right, very good. Now let's, in fact, I'll take that off. There it is. Photo doc. HoboWithWood.com/photodoc. If you use that link, it is a link that will give me about, I don't know, 50 cents or $1. But it's not coming from Kodak, it's coming from Amazon as a referral. So use that link. In fact, if you shop it on Amazon quite often for your groceries, for your dog food, for whatever, HoboWithWood.com/Amazon. And then anything you're going to buy from Amazon will give me a couple of pennies every time you do it. And that'll help sustain this channel. And I would appreciate it. All right, now let's turn off this Oh, no, not that. Turn that back on. I need to get rid of the banner. Hide, go away. Now, let's go to LightBurn. LightBurn, switch, and switch. You can see here, I actually started already working on a track. And this is just a simple, it's not an oval, it's a road course, but it's got inner and outer cut path. It's got lane markers on either side and then the lane dividers all the way around. And this was done using one single shape. Oh, let's see what happened. Let's see. I didn't realize that would happen. All right. This is the first live stream I've done in a new studio. Are you guys seeing LightBurn right now? I think you are. Are you seeing the LightBurn? Yes. Okay. Thanks, Jack. The problem is the way I've got this set up right now, I can't see your comments as big as I need to. They're very, very, very tiny, tiny. If I go back to this screen, oh, wait a minute. It's amazing how much you can forget in a week. There's the comments. I'm sorry. We'll get back to LightBurn now. Yep, there we go. I was trying to read them little bitty comments in the corner of the screen. That didn't work. All right. So now I've got you back. Okay. So Barry is the one who reached out and said he wanted to make something for Hot Wheels. So let's take this and I'm going to say bye-bye. Now, this is my ghost machine. So I forget what size this is, but that's the first thing you need to and that's the beautiful thing about LightBurn. Man, you don't have to work with that. You can whatever size you want to be. How big do you want your track to be? Do you want it to fit within a a 4 foot by 4 foot area? Well, if that's the case, then draw your rectangle and we'll go to inches and we're going to tell it to be 48 by 48. All right. So there's 4 foot by 4 foot. Now I'm going to grab me an ellipse and I'm going to start with, actually, it don't even matter. I could do a perfect circle, but since I'm going to drag this thing out and do something crazy with it, I'm just going to draw an oval to begin with. I ain't going to worry about making it perfect. There we go. Now, the image that Barry sent me, it had some crossroads in it. And you can do that, but you can't do it easily in LightBurn without running into problems. And I want to show you again what Barry sent. Barry. There he is. And bring that over here. So there we go. So you see these are individual pieces that interlock together with puzzle fittings, so you can snap them together. But here's a loop. That's not a big deal. But this down here, well, one, this wouldn't work. Well, I guess actually that would be an intersection instead of if you wanted to do a living hinge and actually have it raise up so one would go under, you could do that. But here I see these lines now. That's just done like an intersection. Yeah, I don't really like that. You bring it around. Okay, stop sign. Gotta wait. Okay, clear. Let's go. But when you do this, and I'll show you the problem that this creates, because wrong button. I need to go back here. Sure as the world, I don't show you why it's a problem. Somebody's going to try it, and you're going to go, "What's going on?" But first, we're going to go through this real simple process. No loop-de-loops, nothing like that. We're just going to make a road course. And so I've drawn a 4 foot by 4 foot area, and I've got an oval here in the middle. I don't want just an oval. I want it to I want to create a road course. So to do that, I'm going to convert to a path, go grab my nodes, and now I'll just start pulling nodes around. I want it to be contained within this 4 foot area. So I might pull it over here to there, and then this one. And actually, you know what? I need to leave room for, this is going to be my center line eventually. So I need to leave enough room around the perimeter so that I can do that. And maybe I come over here and letter I, insert a node, bring that up here. And we're going to draw that down and draw that one on up here. And So we'll start with that. In fact, we'll make it a little more like a kidney bean. All right. So there's my road course. I'm going to take this, and now I need to think about how wide do I want each lane to be, and I want 2 lanes. I want 2 lanes, and I'm doing Hot Wheels. It's been a while since I played with a Hot Wheel, but what's that about? We'll go big. We'll say each Hot Wheel is about 25.4 or 1 inch. So that's 2 inches, and then a 1/4 inch on, so 2.5 inches overall. That'll give us 2 1-inch lanes and a 1/4 inch on that perimeter. So if that's the case, I've got this selected. I'm going to come over here and do an offset, and I'm going to say both inner and outer. And I'm in inches right now for you folks over there. And for the rest of the world, I'm in inches. I'm sorry. We'll do 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches. All right. So now you're starting to see a road course, right? Do not delete your original. Keep that. Say okay. Okay. Now you've got the inner and outer. You got this right here. I'm going to take this. I'm going to turn it into a. Oh, where did my palette disappeared? And when that happens, minimize and maximize. And there's my palette. All right. So there, I can put that on my toolpath. Turn my toolpath back on. Now that my toolpath's on, I'm going to come over here and grab my pencil tool. And I'm just going to draw a line. I'll put that line on the black layer. Oh, and there, my palette's going. This is a new release candidate, folks. I'm on 2.1 release candidate 9, and I've got an issue going on. I've just started using this today. And when that palette disappears, that has something to do with Windows and the scaling options. Minimize it, maximize it, it brings it back. So I've not run into this until just now, because I've just started using this when I started making that memorial piece today. But let's put that on the black layer. Now that's on the black layer. I'm going to bring it down here. We're going to make it a little bit smaller. There we go. And I'm going to put it there on the line. And now I'm going to hold shift and select the toolpath, go to arrange, and copy a long path. And I'm going to move this over here out of the way so I can see my dashes. I can't see the bottom because it's not a live screen and you can't scroll. But you can see here, these are not oriented correctly. You need to tell it to rotate copies. And now it'll rotate the copies and stay on that path. Let's give it 40 copies. That looks pretty good. 40. Say okay. And now if you want to see that really good, we'll come over here and turn the toolpath off. There you go. Now, I don't want those little bitty dashes. Those are going to be extremely difficult to see if you try to engrave them. So I'm going to hold shift, click on this black layer, and that selects everything in black. Did you mean to make? No, I didn't. Did you? No, you're right. I should have done an inward and outward offset of 1 1/4, which would have been a total of 2.5 inches. So yes, Jay, you're right. Cardboard cookie for Jay. He found a goof, but watch how easy that is to fix. I just got to come back over here, do an inward only, and do 1 1/4, and delete the original, and come back over here, and same thing. Oh, no. And here, there's an example of how, when you try to do a loop, the way LightBurn looks at those, there, I needed to go the other direction, but because it's an internal piece, you have to think backward. Well, when you take, and you'll see this in a minute, when you take and twist it, what was out becomes in. So you need to be careful when you start twisting it. So I'm going to Control Z, undo that, and come back here to offset. And this one needs to be outward instead of inward, and delete the original. Okay. So now if I zoom in and measure that, that should be 2.5. So from there to there, yeah, 2.5 inches. Thank you, Jay. So there we go. But now hold shift and select all of the black layer. And now do an offset of all of that. But let's do maybe 2 millimeter, not 2 inches. I need to go back to millimeters, offset 2 millimeters, and delete the original. Say okay. Now you've got some pretty good dashes that are going to engrave around your road course. But here, actually, I need to say offset outward. Yep. And we're going to do, we'll do 3 mil. Say okay. Oh, I had to delete on. Change that. Go back. Offset. Turn off your delete original objects and say okay. Now you've got those there. Now I just did a 3 millimeter offset. And because that's what I did and said okay, if I want to recreate that exact same offset without having to go into the offset tool, all I have to do is hold control, select the line I want to do an offset on, that one, hold control and click on the offset tool. What happened? It went, did I create the wrong, did it do the wrong one? There's one. Yeah, it did it there. And I want to see why it did what it did. Outward, inward. And say okay. All right, now you'll see why I wanted to do that. If I grab these two, put it on the black layer, there's an engrave, and there's my cut. So come back over here to this one, and now I want to do an outward 3 mil and say okay. I want to do it again, so I can hold shift and just click on it, and there we go. Select those two, put it on the black layer, and now I got a road course and dashes, and it's, you know, ready to set up and cut out. No, it's not. No, I didn't want each lane to be 2.5 inches because the cars are maybe an inch wide, maybe. And actually, I don't even think they're an inch wide. They're probably about what, 20 mils, maybe about 3/4 of an inch. But you know, right now this is about the process because I don't have them Hot Wheels here. I'm going from memory, and I'm thinking they're about 3/4 inch wide. But you could, if they're needing them bigger, and then plus this is something else that somebody asked me once before. Before Barry specifically asked for something for Hot Wheels. But I've been asked multiple times about how to create something maybe for HO for trains and setting up, you know, what do you call those? They're not dioramas, but you want to create a city or a town or whatever. Well, if you know what your scale is, well, it's you know how to scale up your design. This is about the technique about how to get there. You use your scale to begin with to help figure out what your big dimensions need to be. Now you know what they need to be. Now I'm showing you how to do it, how to get it there. You need 2.5 inches for drift racing. Yeah. And that way you're not worried about hitting the car and the other lane. All right. So we've got the design of the track, but it's 4 foot by 4 foot. We can't do a 4 foot by 4 foot on, well, some of us could on some of our lasers. Jack might could. I don't know how big his laser table is, but some of the folks has got some of these really big machines. They can do 4 foot by 4 foot, no problem. But for us hobbyists that's got the XW and or smaller, you ain't doing this. So you have to break it down. And since you're going to have to have this thing so it's interlocking in pieces anyway, it wouldn't matter if you could do it all in one piece. You're not going to do it all in one piece. It needs to be cut into sections. How do we do that? First thing I'm going to do is I want to look at, most of us are probably going to be cutting it out of 12 by 12 or 300 by 300 material. Now, I would caution you, if you're going to make something like this, I would not do it from the Baltic birch. I wouldn't do it. If I was going to make something like this, I would do it out of some of the Craft Closet MDF core. You can use, they've got all, you don't have to get the colored MDF from Craft Closet, but you can get stuff that has a wood finish to it or just white, or if you wanted to do it where it looked like a highway, you can get it in gray, and then you'd have a gray asphalt looking road course. But I would use the MDF because it's going to be consistent. You start cutting it out of 4 or 5 or 6, or in this case, it's probably going to be closer to 12 or 13 pieces of 300 or 300 pieces of material. Your thickness is going to vary. It's going to want to warp. It's not going to go together well. All the more reason why you want to use the MDF. For me, it's coming from Craft Closet. In fact, just for giggles, it's been a while since I checked. Let me make sure. I think hobowithwood.com/craft closet will get you there. Hobowithwood.com/craft closet. Yep. I don't have a link to show you for that, but hobowithwood.com/craft closet will take you to their website. In fact, just for giggles, while I'm here, you go into the diode laser category, go into, you've got finished wood products, unfinished, color express. If you wanted to get the gray, then come in here to shop all, and you can come down here and actually, instead of going to shop all, colorboard expressions, colorboard customs, not the customs. Can you shop by gray? And I got a ambulance outside my front door. Well, I'm not having any luck navigating it right now, but you can go in there and find your gray, select that, get you 10 or 12 sheets of it, and you can get it in that big 12 by 19, 3mm MDF core. It's going to give you a whole lot better end result. So back to LightBurn. Back to LightBurn. Back to LightBurn. That's not LightBurn. That's LightBurn. All right. So how am I going to get this out? Now, I would want to know, what material am I going to cut it out of? How big do I want these pieces? And that's something else to think about. How are you going to, when it's taken apart, how are you going to store this? And what we got here? Typical Hot Wheels are 1/64 scale, around 25, around an inch. Okay. That's what I was going with. So that this gives me a 1-inch lane with a 1/4 inch curb. Standard size. Okay, we got it. So I was guessing, and I guessed right. All right. I used to collect Hot Wheels, but long time ago. Still got some of them. Squirrel. All right. So how are you going to store it? Where are you going to store it? Something you could do. You can make your own box to collect it and put it in. And then you could, whatever size you want it to be. But do you want it to be something that's, 18 inches, 16 inches long, that you got a whole lot of shelf space? Or do you want to make it all fit within a 12 by 12 area? Think about that, because now you've got your design. You need to know how it needs to be constrained. And for this demonstration, we're going to go with 300 by 300 or 12 by 12. So I'm going to do, and I have not done, I'm doing this right now for the first time. I haven't done this. I've got the concept, but I haven't done this. So we're gonna see a couple of undos. But what I would start with would be a 300 by 300 square, not a rectangle, 300 Put that on a toolpath for now. Turn my toolpath back on so I can see it. Put that in the left top. There we go. Now I'm going to take that and I'm going to do a grid array. And I'm going to do 4. I need to turn off my random orientation, do 0 spacing, or no, padding between edges. There we go. And 0. There we go. This isn't, well, it's going to work. I did 4 feet and then I did 4 300 millimeters. So that's why it doesn't quite fit. But we do 4 of those. And we're going to go padding between the edges and 0 spacing. So now I've got a grid that whole track fits on. So I can say, okay. In fact, I can go ahead and get rid of this. Goodbye. So now there is all the pieces that would be required to cut this out. I can see I don't need that. Oh, ungroup it. I don't need them. Delete those. And the rest of them all have something on it. How does one get in and out of wireframe mode? You can do it a couple of different ways. For me, I use the keyboard shortcut. Alt Shift W. Get over here, Alt Shift W. And that goes in and out. Alt Shift W, Alt Shift W. But if you go into Window, right here, wireframe smooth or filled. And see that's extra work to go in and find those. So Alt Shift W is and it's real easy because you can do it right there with 3 fingers. Alt Shift W. Alt Shift W. All right. So got one what? All right. Alt Shift W. There we go. All right. So now, like I said, I've got a grid. I can see what fits in here, but these are 12 by 12 or 300 by 300 pieces of material. You don't want to try and cut that out of from edge to edge on a 300 millimeter piece. So you would actually would have wanted to create that grid probably out of 10 inch by 10 inch. That gives you what, an inch around each side of it. All right. So let's do that. Told you we're going to do some undos here. We're going to get rid of all of these. And we're going to take this one. I'm going to put my anchor point at the bottom down there and tell it to be 10 by 10. And then do the grid array. All right. So now I can see where I'm at. Get rid of these. I don't need that one or those first. Well, no, that's it. All right, we'll start there. Now you've got a 10-inch piece right there. You see that's going to need to snap on. You can move these around and position them however, but how do you create the puzzle pieces? How do you get them to interlock with each other? That's what everybody wants to know. Well, how important is it that you are perpendicular to the curb? Is it a big deal to have, and this is all personal preference, but if I put that curb there to where I'm about 90 degrees across that road, about like that, and I can put a straight line here and put a puzzle piece in here, and that's going to bisect it, put it in 2 pieces. But if you're not worried about it being perfectly perpendicular, then you can just put the knobs in there anywhere you want them to. And that would be the easier thing to do instead of trying to constantly rotate it and all that. And it's a puzzle. It doesn't matter. As long as it's in the center, I think you'll be all right. But how would I do that? Well, I'm going to grab my pencil tool and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to first draw a line. We'll draw a straight line, goes from one to the other. There we go. Let's put that on the, I'm going to do that. I'll get my selector tool, put that on the cut layer. And see, my layers are going again. And this is a update issue. Put that back on the cut layer. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to get a circle. And I'm going to come right here in the middle. And I'm not going to draw a perfect circle, but I am going to hold control. Is it control to help? Yeah. Holding control will keep it there in the center. So it expands from the center. Control shift gives you a perfect circle, but I don't want a perfect circle. I do want that oval, I think. Perfectly perpendicular parallelograms. Yep. Had a few of them. And that's about 3/4 of an inch, give or take. I like the oval shape. It needs to be able to interlock with one another. That's why I went with the oval. The circle would probably work too, but I like the extra reach of that oval reaching in there. But once I had that centered up there, I need to pull it off center, keeping it on the center line like that. And then I can create with my scissor tool, scissors right here, get rid of that, and that. And now I've got a piece that's going to interlock in there because this comes back in so that when you snap that together, it's extending inside there. So it's not just going to be slid together. It's locked together. All right. So there's that. That's done. Now I could actually take this now, go back to my selector tool, and I've got that. I can just say duplicate that and bring it around to where, and now here's where you're going to start playing with your pieces, positioning. And I'm guessing you probably don't even need this now that I look at it. You're going to take this right here and I'm going to position it where I can get the maximum amount out of that piece of material, which would be about like that. And I'll take this piece and I'll rotate it and put it in between the lines. In between the lane markers. And I could even flip it so that, you know, it had a nipple on this side, a nipple on this side if you want to. But now, that's going to give, you can keep doing that and keep position. In fact, I just thought of this. Watch this. This is pretty cool. This is actually going to be really cool. What's he say? Maybe put your taskbar on auto hide. I don't know what that is, Bob, but Jer says, what if you do a line you did in the middle, then you do the array tool and you're spacing at 10 inches? That would, Jared, that would actually be probably pretty good too. We'll look at that. That's really good. But I'm going to do not the array tool, and it's not the array tool, it's the copy along path. So yes, Jared, that's a real good idea. Real good. And Andy's just put up there the same thing I just thought of. We're going to use the copy along path to do the interlocking pieces as well. this is a piece of cake. This is really, really easy to do. And like I said, I'm figuring it out as we go. And Andy had that light bulb moment at the same time I did. So, in fact, let's do all of those suggestions. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Because this is actually going to be a much, much better way to do it. Much better way. All right. First, let's do oh, you know what? I think you can even let's just get rid of this. Get rid of this one. I've got this one original. I'm going to select it, hold shift and select that center line that's there. And then tell it arrange, copy along path. It needs to rotate with the copies. And then space between copies. 250.4 millimeters. That's 10 inches. All right, so now those are spaced 10 inches apart. Now, there's a couple places where that has a problem with your little lane markers, but you know what? That's for looks. It's not going to be an engineering issue. But there, we just made our interlocking pieces and we spaced them 10 inches apart from one another and rotated them around the design. Say, okay, done. That's done. Now, let's take and get us a square. Oh, let's see. I need to get my tool path. Dadgummit. Tool path, rectangle. And we're going to tell it to be 12 by 12 or 300 by 300. Now take that and we're going to put it in the center of one of those pieces like that. There we go. And then hold shift, select that tool path and go back to arrange and copy along path. We need to rotate the copies. And how many copies do we need? Well, we don't know. That's what we're wanting to find out. We'll just keep increasing them until that right there would work. That would work. Now, right now, we've got individual cut lines and they're not attached to the pieces. And let's go say, okay, done. So now we know that each one of those pieces are going to come out of a single piece of that material. But this cut line, that's a single cut line. And I need two of those, one for each side of that. Oh, did I? You did. You're right. I put the decimal in the wrong point. You could link the pieces with, oh yeah, bow ties would work too. You could use fewer sheets. I don't follow you on how that would use fewer sheets. But bow ties would be something else that you'd have to keep up with. You got to think about this. Are you doing it for yourself? The bow ties would actually look pretty cool if it's something that you're doing for yourself and the adult's doing it and it's going to look good and you're going to keep up with it. But if you're doing this for your grandkid, bow ties are one more piece that's going to get lost. So, but yeah, bow ties would look cool. Not sure what that means, Jay. All right. So back over here. So I could come in here and select that and select that one. And I'm going to Control D, duplicate it. So those two are duplicated. And bow ties will make it harder to match the angles on the pieces. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, there because if you're in a curve or something like that, you could do it maybe with you'd have to be real careful with putting the design together. Uh, can't you break the pieces apart at all at the connectors and make them separate pieces, then nest them, uh, and get more than one piece out of the absolutely. Once you've got them here, we need to know uh, that you're going to definitely be able to get it on the material. And but once you've got them out, then yes, absolutely you could do it. Each sheet would be 12, not 10. Yes, each sheet would be 12, but I'm doing this at 10 inches just because I wanted to make sure I'm able to get it onto the 12-inch piece and it not be too close to the edge. Or if it was something like this corner piece right here that was an odd shape or something that like here, that make sure it all fits on there. Again, this is we're learning together about how to get like copy along path. We're doing a lot of that tonight with creating the lane markers, using the copy along path to help kind of strategize to see how many of those pieces of sheets are we going to need. Is that necessary? Might not be, because once we've confirmed that we've got them all there, we can see that that's all going to fit on that many sheets. But as it was mentioned, you can nest some of these and get multiple pieces on one individual sheet. But this is just to ensure that they will all fit on at least one sheet, that nothing's too big. And by keeping it under your maximum size, you're definitely double ensuring you've got room on your material. So I'm going to, I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to, and this, for those who went through the design process with me on the, let's turn Scott off here, on the frame last week, the more I got into it and the more I did it, I was like, oh, wait a minute, it's an easy way. It kept getting easier and easier and easier. So right now I'm figuring it out, and then we'll figure out if there's not an even easier way to do it. But right now, I just duplicated those two end pieces. Now I'm going to duplicate the whole track once, just because I want to get one of the pieces. So I've got that entire track there, and I'm going to say Control D. Now, can you hear me? Okay. I don't know how that happened. The mic got muted, and I don't know what I did to mute it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So I got rid of all of the toolpaths because I thought that was what was making the scissors go haywire, but it's not. And the scissors should go to the next. Is it not? Okay, that's why, because it's not intersecting. Let's see that. But it's intersecting right there. That's overlapping, and it should stop right there, and it's not. But let's select this piece, go to node editing, and just hover over that node and hit the letter E to extend. Because if I try to drag that down and past it, I may or may not keep it in a straight line. But if I just hover over that node and hit the letter E, well, it ain't gonna work. E is supposed to extend that straight down to that line. This, I'm having all kind of problems with this release candidate 9, Chris. Stuff's not doing what it's supposed to do. It's not working. You could have selected all on tool layer, deselected the lane, and then delete all. I think some of my issues, and see, the color palette's going again. I think some of the issues I'm having tonight right now is this release candidate. Because I didn't have any of these issues with release candidate 8 or 7. So something's going screwy here. In fact, I need to stand up. So let's hit our magic button. Hit our magic button. Oh, my. Oh. And I've got a back brace on I need to take off for a minute. Oh. Okay. I almost feel like grabbing 1.7 and starting over, but we're too far into this to do that. Oh my. So you should not do this. You should use the letter E to extend it. Since the letter E is not working, we're going to grab that and bring it down here to overlap it. And we need to look up here and up here. And it is. All right. Oh, you know what? I think maybe part of the issue is because I've got, nope, it's not duplicated. Control Z. That looks kind of funny. It's acting like it's a duplicate. Is it grouped? Nope. Let's leave that alone. I think the duplicates, yeah, Control Z. I think because I did duplicate it. Yeah, this is definitely a LightBurn issue tonight because those are duplicates. I remember I created 2 duplicates because I thought I was going to need them for the piece I'm creating, and I'll need them again for the other pieces on either side. So I created a duplicate, and and you can tell by looking at this screen, that's an individual. And if you come up here and click on this one, you don't see you see a halfway flashing ants, but and it's not grouped, and I can't select just one and delete it. The whole thing goes away. So I'm going to come down here to these that happen and see if that maybe wasn't the issue. Just for giggles, we'll go to our scissors. Here. Yep, it's looking like that's going to work. That didn't. That one didn't. That one didn't. Huh. Oh, that time it did. That was weird. All right. node editing, inserter node, and scissors and cut. No, it still won't cut. Usually it cut to that next node. So go to nodes, B for break. This is not the way to do this, folks. This version of LightBurn's giving me problems. Now I should be able to hover over that and hit the letter T for trim, and it should trim right back to that line. But let's see. T. Nope. It trimmed it all the way. Yeah. LightBurn's giving us a troubles. As someone who has had a bad back for about 45 years, it hurts to watch you stand up. Well, now that I'm up, I feel good. Closed shapes. I've never had to do that before. In fact, I just cut off a whole bunch of stuff. I think there's an issue, Chris, that this, in fact, just for giggles, I've got 1.7 open because, you know what? Let's do this. Not 1.7. This is actually 2.0.05. I've got 0.005 and I've got 2.1 release candidate 9 and 2.0. All right. Have you saved it yet? It shows untitled. It would be bad for, well, it wouldn't be bad to lose this work because it ain't worth keeping. There's too many errors in it. I'm going to come over here to, because here I wanted to show you these two. How easy these are to create. And this version, this is 2.0.05. I've used this, I've worked with it, and I know that it's not got bugs in it. I haven't been losing my palette, and I haven't been having all kinds of issues. So I want to try something real quick, though. Because what Chris said about closing shapes. There's a rectangle, and let's put it on a cut path. And we're going to pretend that was, actually, you know what? Let's do it different. I want to do it. Well, we'll do an offset, outward, and don't delete, say okay. Now draw a straight line and a straight line. So that's kind of what we had back there. And if I grab my scissor tools, I should be able to come in here and cut, and cut, and same thing. See, so this is, the scissors are working fine in this version. But in that, there's something screwy going on in that other. Because that's a perfect representation of what I was just trying to do, and it wasn't cooperating. But I think you kind of got the idea about how easy it is to create those tracks. And I want to show you this real fast before we get off of that subject. And because this one was, that one was a bust, but I think it was a bust because of LightBurn. I honestly do. I found my problem with LightBurn on this computer. Nothing past 1.7.08 will work. Got a few people confused as it worked up until 2.0, but now it doesn't. Yeah. I actually contacted, I emailed a couple of developers, a couple of programmers, and asked them to describe the ultimate machine. What would be if I was going to buy a new PC or a new computer right now, be it because we talked about this too. I might be looking at getting my first Mac because of every one of those problems we just seen in that release candidate where the palette was dropping off the bottom and kept going away. All of that's Windows related crap. It's all Windows problems. But I asked, hey, send me a best case scenario for the optimum machine to purchase if you want to do LightBurn. And I hadn't heard back from nobody. Sometimes I feel like the redheaded stepchild. Yeah. But hey, here we are. We're having fun. So I'm going to show you the problem you have whenever you invert or you create a loop and try to do those road courses. So we're going to select all of this, get rid of it, and let's get an ellipse, convert it to a path, show our nodes. And now this is how easy it is to create a loop. Grab this handle and spin it around. And now you can create you kind of a figure 8 looking thing going on and draw it out, get it even bigger. But now here's the problem. Here's your problem. If I select it and I come over here to my offset tool and I'm telling it to do an outward offset, we're going to do an outward offset, and let's put it in there for metric for everybody in the world to understand what we're doing. Offset, and do a 3 millimeter offset outward. Well, if you look at this side over here, there's our dotted line. There's our original. There's outward 3 millimeters. But if you come over here to this side, it don't know what to do. It's going, huh? What are you talking about? Well, we just inverted this side of it. So this is the inside of that circle. I'm sorry, this is the outside. This is the inside when we're looking at it, but because we flipped it, technically this is the outside where all these little lines are sticking out. That's the outside of that. And it confuses LightBurn and it says, hey, I can't do that. So that's why you don't want to use that technique to create figure 8s. You could create a figure 8 by doing this. If you say that's the shape you want it to be, take your scissor tools. If you've got a properly working version of LightBurn, you can just click that off. That's done. Grab that right there. Say Control D, duplicate it, mirror it, and then slide it over here out of the way. And grab that and Alt Shift H to bring them together. And now you've got two pieces in a figure 8, and you can go into offset. And when you tell it to do an outward offset, it gives you an outward offset all the way around. So you don't want to, when you start seeing those lines instead of an offset, it's because you've inverted what was inside outside and what was outside inside. All right. So let's do this because the that version of LightBurn turned that one into a bit of a crapshoot. Let's look at doing one of these multi-layered three, and it doesn't have to be with craft paper. I'm doing this with craft paper because it's inexpensive, but this is how you could learn how to do multi-layered pieces, and you can use the craft paper to test the design. And then if it, once you see, hey, this looks really, really good, it would look even better if it was multi-dimensional, because when you're doing it with paper, it's going to be, tenths of an inch thick. Whereas I'll have how many layers here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers. 6 layers on 3 millimeters, 18 millimeters is going to be almost 3/4 of an inch thick if you did it on 3 millimeter material. So let's look at this real fast, because this is something we can do a complete without having a problem. Let's get rid of this. And what here you can see all of the layers, everything stacked one on top of the other. You can see the different multicolors. You could go in and add more detail to this and create a different design on just these outer pieces. But I want to do a quick, simple design and show you how you create each individual layer. So to do that, let's come over here, set this over here, and oh no, he has replaced Amazon boxes with craft paper. Let's get a circle. Let's draw out a perfect circle. And we're going to duplicate that. Control D, duplicate it, and then bring it up to the top center right there. And hold Shift, select that one, and do a circular array. And we'll do 6 copies and say OK. All right. You're starting to see that up there? All right. Before you do that, though, Control Z. I forgot to do my offset. Let's do an offset both and delete the original. Say OK. It didn't delete the original because I didn't select it. Get rid of that. Group that. Now those are grouped. Hold Shift, select that. Do my circular array and say OK. So there, that one's not as much of an offset as what I had up here. But you can see there's my shape. There's my shape. We'll get an offset on this one. Delete the original, say OK. Now, I want to take all of those and weld it together. Done. So now I've got me a nice little geographic shape. Now, if I'm wanting to do multi-layer pieces, I find it's so much easier to see the layers as you're building them by putting them on individual layers in LightBurn and putting them in fill mode. And then you change your priority in the cuts and layers orders over there so that you can see which one's on the top, which one's on second, which one's on third. You can actually create the actual visual representation by changing the priority of your layers in the cuts and layers folder. So this is going to be, I need to get rid of all this so I can free up my layers. So this one we'll put on, it doesn't really matter. We'll put it on a green layer and it's in fill mode. And we're going to duplicate it. Control D, duplicate that and bring it over here. Now, I want to get my next layer. I'm going to duplicate that one more time, bring it right here. I'm going to ungroup it. And actually think about it. Craft paper makes sense, different colors for different parts to see which part needs fixing. Yeah, yep. A whole lot better than just trying to do it out of the same brown cardboard. And craft paper like that is fairly inexpensive. But here you've got another layer. This is going to be the second layer. It's going to go underneath this, but we need to make it different. Well, what do I want it to be different? What do I want to see in this one? Well, let's see here. We're going to go to ungroup it. And I'm going to go to wireframe mode because it's easier to select individual pieces. And I'm going to say I want to have these inner pieces a field. Oh, I didn't ungroup it. Ungroup. There we go. So I'm going to select that. Come on. Actually, it's coming in to grab all these right there. And I missed one there. Put that on a different layer. Put it on an orange layer. And then maybe just the outer one out here. Grab the outer layer and put it on the orange layer. All right. Hold Shift and select the orange layer. And that's going to give me that right there. And put it in fill mode. No, that didn't quite work. But here's how you can if you didn't want to use a bunch of craft paper to figure out what works, what don't work, using your layers like this also works with allowing you to be able to see what the result's going to be. Let's group that. That's grouped. This one is grouped. So if I put those bullseyed and then see, it's like, okay, wait a minute. All I see is my orange. That's because the priority is wrong. And to me, the priorities in the LightBurn software is actually inverted. Whenever you're stacking your colors like this, whatever is on the bottom in LightBurn is actually what's going to be on top of your design. So I want the green layer to be on the bottom. And there you go. Now you can see what that orange layer would look like on that. And that's not what I wanted to do. I was like, oh, I messed up. Actually, all I wanted was those. I should have left those. So let's go back. Go to Alt-Shift-W. There we go. I want those to be solid. So actually what I want to do is, does it go here, here? I'm on. Grab all of those and put those on the orange layer. Alt-Shift-W. That'll fill that. Oh, I know what it was. Oh, and now if, let's see here, take this outer layer, the outer piece, because I need the perimeter so I can stack them easily. And with that, because I did that, I think I need to get rid of that. Yep. I didn't want those. Or did I? I didn't want these. That's what it is. I need to get rid of those. Alt-Shift-W. Get rid of those. Delete them. There. Now, I don't want any of this green, so I can get rid of all of this green. Group it. Alt-Shift-W. And stack it. Bullseye it. And get my order in correct order. Bring that green layer down. And there. I've got that. Now, if I didn't want this out here to be solid orange, I should have left those pieces in there. And just to show you how easy that is to go back, do that. Put this in wireframe mode so we can see it. There we go. Control Z, undo, 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 and put all of that on the orange layer. Group it back. And I'm going to leave it in wireframe mode. Bullseye it. Change my priority. Put that green on the bottom. And now show you in filled. Alt-Shift-W. There you go. Now you've only got those filled in orange. Now you can create another one on another layer. So let's look at that. Control Z or just pull them apart. So you delete the pieces that you want it to be in the color. So let's grab that. Pull it over here, duplicate it, and I want to have these pieces in a different color. I want to come, as I keep coming out, I'm going to change colors. So those are the ones I want to delete. So ungroup it. And these are going to be the ones that get deleted. There you go. Because now you can start to see that's going to be filled. So keep coming around. Delete. And delete. Put that on another color. And we'll use gold. Why not? Group it. And we need to continue to move that down in priority. So now I've got green, orange, and gold. And if I select all of them, bullseye them, and Alt-Shift-W, you got 3 layers, 3 distinct colors. They're all going to line up and stack one on top of another. Let's grab that, pull it over here. And now I need to change these here. So let's grab that, duplicate it, bring it over here, go to wireframe mode, ungroup it, and select all of these here. And delete, 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 delete. And actually, I think delete and delete. These are going to be cut out on your laser, but you're not going to see them because that's going to be on a much, much deeper layer. So to save time on your laser, you should be able to delete all of that. If I'm not mistaken, just delete it all. And let's see. Take that, group it, put that on. We've already got orange. We'll use the 6. We got to come down here to 6, and we need to take it below the gold. So move it on down. Now, bullseye it. And Alt-Shift-W. Yeah, there you go. So anything that you've already selected the color for can all be deleted. So now I need just these out here put on a different color, a different path. Select that, move it up here. Let's duplicate it because I don't want to get rid of my original. We'll keep that, bring it over here. Ungroup it, Alt-Shift-W, so I get it in wireframe mode. And actually, let's go back and see that again. Yeah, so it's just these up here. So in that, if that's the case, I need to delete everything but that. So I can just grab all of that and delete, and that, and all of that, and that, and that, and that. And put that on another layer. We'll put it on the purple layer and group it and bullseye it. Come on. There we go. And bullseye. Pull all that down here to the middle so we can see her. And Alt-Shift-W. We got to change our priority. Move that to the bottom. The last one we did was the blue, so that's got to go all the way down below the blue. Oh, went too far. What'd I do? What happened? Oh, I went past. Oh, something wrong. Let's look at that. Pull that. I hold shift and select on that layer, and I can just drag it off over here. Oh, I needed to delete that. Alt-Shift-W. I needed to delete those. Everything needed to be deleted. Wow. What? Ungroup it. And see, I was able to see that mistake without cutting material out and wasting material and not knowing that it was a mistake. So that's just a solid piece. And put that on here and bullseye it. It's in the right place. Alt-Shift-W. So there, I've got all the layers. So I can pull this over here out the way. Yep. Got there. We got there. So now to select your individual layers, let's take this and put it on a toolpath so it doesn't get confused with any other stuff. Now, the only thing that's on a layer is this. We'll delete that, get away. Now I can come over here, hold shift and select the green layer. Pull that over here. Hold shift, select the orange layer. Pull that over here. Hold shift, select the gold layer. Pull that over here. Hold shift, blue layer. Hold shift, and that's that. So there's all the layers. Now you're ready to cut them out. You put them on a cut path, and you go to town, and Bob's your uncle. You got a multi-layered piece. So power's back on. What did I miss? You missed a cluster. I was trying to use a brand new version of LightBurn, and it's giving me nothing but trouble. So I had to quit trying to design my road course because the tools weren't working right. The menus kept crashing and going away. So I ended up getting away from the tool, that road course, and going back to an older version, LightBurn 2.0.05, and was able to demonstrate how to create a multi-layer piece. So just for giggles, if you didn't see that, we'll recap. Or actually, you'll go back here, show you this with just doing undo. And I need to change my priority. I don't know why. Why did the priority change? See, I don't understand that. So that's got to be the green. The green's got to be on top. Gold was next, I think. And then the orange. Then the blue. There you go. So I created that multi-layer piece, and I did that using all those different layers so you can see how one layer is going to sit on the other. And as you just seen, you move your layers around, it changes that by changing the priority, it changes its placement in the design. So if you're looking at it and you're like, wait a minute, that just don't look right. Well, the problem may be that you just got it in the wrong priority. All right, where are we at? We're way past the hour or 90 minutes. So sorry about the road course but that's I'm not accepting responsibility for that. I'm putting the blame on that on LightBurn. I undid my priorities. Okay, I didn't see that, but yeah, because I know this version works. I just didn't know how it got how the priorities got undone. Yeah, because when I thought I was undoing, I was just restacking them. But anyway, yeah, I'm not accepting blame on the failure to create the road course, because I do fully put that at the doorstep of that release candidate. And again, that's not a negative thing about LightBurn. It's a release candidate. It's what it's out there for, to find the problems, find the bugs. And we already know that there's a ton of bugs with LightBurn if you're going to try to use Windows. And the more advanced LightBurn gets, the more problems they encounter. So that's why I am entertaining getting away from Windows. Road courses, I think, is just separate pieces, straight ones, different lengths, then corner one, different angles. Then when you put together, each piece should fit. And you could do that. You could, if you wanted to create it so you could have random shapes. But the problem there, you may or may not get it to where it's a complete closed course. If you have like 10 curves and 5 straight pieces, you may end up trying to put them all together and it be 3 inches short. You can't stretch it. So if I was going to be doing it, I would do it on following the path we were on, where you used the copy-along path to be able to make sure that the pieces are going to be cut at 10-inch lengths or whatever. And once you had them all cut out, they're going to fit together. You could take those pieces you just did, and you could even try to rearrange those, but they may or may not go together in any other order but the one you designed. I don't know. The road course, Terry, I'll have to revisit that. That'll be a video that I'll do for this week. I will release it this week. Barry reached out to me and asked me to help him with some road courses, or a road course. And let me get my email back up. Email. Barry. Done. Bring you over here. And so I think he said this was for his kid or his grandkid. He wanted it to be for Hot Wheels, something he could put together, and they have a little road course, a track, a city street, or whatever you wanted to put in. You could make it be a bunch of different things, but this, interlocking pieces with puzzle pieces, and have, dual lanes, curbs, and all that. And I got into the whole design part of it, and where it was ready to start sectioning it up, and the scissors wasn't working right, the nodes weren't working right, nothing. And my menus kept disappearing, so I ended up just saying breaks. So this will be the video that I put up this week. I'll design a road course in a video and post it in a non-live, and that'll be step by step. We'll figure out. And plus, like I said, it wasn't wasted time. Learning and developing the process using that copy along path is going to make it real quick. Build the course like the old model train track pieces, straight pieces, curved pieces. Yeah. And if you had enough of them, you could get there eventually. If you're doing ovals, not a biggie. Um, I didn't play with it a lot. I had some HO trains, some Lionel trains, um, a long time ago, but I didn't play with them long enough or enough to realize that there either was problems with different configurations or not. Because we put it together and it stayed together and it was it. Uh, if you're doing a video on it, maybe just add stop lights and that stand up to go. Yeah, you could do, because he mentioned something about city streets and different things like that. But for the actual design video, it'd be just the concept of creating the course. Yeah, you hear Miss Gigi's chain rattling. Yeah, you and me both, Bob. I've mentioned my brother is an orthopedic surgeon, and he looked at my X-rays, and he did not have good news. And so I'm actually scheduling MRI to look and see where my problem is coming from. Is it coming from the bone spurs that we can see in the imaging from the X-ray, or is it disc problems? We're going to try everything in the world first before we start talking about any surgeries. I don't want surgeries. Don't want surgeries. So we're going to be looking at options, but until we see the MRI, we won't know really just how severe it is. Last night I was brought straight up in the bed. I coughed once and the muscles constricted in the back, and it felt like somebody just grabbed my spine and twisted it. And then I coughed again, and it doubled that amount of pain just from coughing. So yeah, something's going on. Something going on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I would look at resolution settings. Yeah, my resolution settings haven't changed, and it's working fine. In this, what was that? That was 2 point. It wasn't 1.7. I mean the one that's working really good, 2.1.0. No, that's the release candidate. I actually had good luck with the memorial piece. 2.0.05. And I don't have any problems in 2.0.05. Everything works, no issues. So if they did something with this new 2.1.09, that's going to be a problem with, and that's what I speculate is, yes, they've made more improvements, more changes that Windows cannot account for. And that's why I'm thinking it needs just to get away from Windows. Yeah. Yeah. Last resort for sure. And not only surgery, I'm staying away from medications. I don't want any pharmaceuticals. I don't want any pain pills. I don't want anything. I don't, I don't want to be numbed. So I just don't feel it. I want to fix the problem, but without going inside. Coughing is absolutely the worst thing. There you go. Yeah, and Kilroy says the same thing. He says 0.05 working for him. So and that's what I'm gonna delete this release candidate we were just working with. I'm not even gonna fool with it and stay with 2.0.05 for right now. So again, thank you all. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for hanging out, even though we ran into snafus, but hey, it's part of live. Hobowithwood.com/photodoc if you want to. And I can't show you the picture because I got the desk. Actually, this is how easy it is. We'll put the desk back down and we'll show you the photo doc. That is a really, really cool tool if you want to sell some frames. And everybody say hello to Jack. Hey, Jack. How you doing? Oh. Oh. Okay. boys and girls, you guys have a great rest of your weekend. I hope we get some rain. We need it desperately. Get some of this pollen out of the air, and some water in our lakes. Our lakes are starting to close boat ramps where we're at because our water is getting so low. So anyway, thank you again, and I really appreciate each and every one of you. See you next week.